Hello everyone and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news today comes from Turkish outlet Sözcugazete. Sorry if I butchered that, best I'm going to get. And it's that Everton are interested in Fenerbahce midfielder Fred. The 32-year-old Brazilian is available for £18 million. We ran a poll about this on the Twitter. Fred to Everton, leave us your thoughts. If you want to vote in any polls in the future, the Twitter is at Everton Newsfeed. 14% of fans said that they would take Fred, 10% have said that they're not sure, and the last 76% said that they wouldn't, and that's from 2,559 votes, so thank you to everyone that did vote. I have to lean towards the more negative side here. I think signing a 32-year-old for €18 million is silly in the first place. And someone like Fred, although I do think he's overhated by a lot of people who didn't really watch him at Man United and just base it off the hate on the internet, which I think is, unfortunately, 99% of football fans now don't actually watch the player. They like to jump on trends and say what other people say. But it's one of those things where I do think he underperformed at Man United quite a lot. I don't think the role he played was exactly suited to his strengths, but you've seen what he's gone on to do really well at Fenerbahce, what Scott McTominay's gone on to do at Napoli. It's quite clearly a Man United problem, but at the same time, we've already got a 36, 37-year-old Idrissa Gueye. We don't need another 32-year-old in the team, especially for that. If it was Fred on a free, different story, I'd say I'd take him, but no, if we have to pay any fee, I don't think it's worth it. I think we could probably get a young defensive midfielder with a lot of potential for a similar price as well. And yeah, for example, Ndidi is 3 years younger, defensive numbers are much better, and he's quite literally half the price. So, it's one of those, but I do think he's massively overhated, to be honest. I think it's at this point it's a bit silly. The next bit of news comes from at EFL Analyst on Twitter. At EFL Analysis, sorry, not Analyst. Stoke City, Sheffield United and Swansea City are all interested in taking use of Chermiti on loan, but he could be made to wait until Everton's striker situation becomes clear. Ran another poll on the Twitter, would you loan out use of Chermiti next season? Leave us your thoughts. 1,790 votes, so again, thank you for everyone that did vote. 76% of fans said that they would loan him out, 8% of fans said that they are unsure, and the last 16% said that they wouldn't. I think we have to loan him out. I think he barely gets any opportunities, even as a third, fourth choice striker. He barely even gets substitute minutes. It's one of those where I just think it'd be silly not to really give him any chance to go out on loan. I think it's one of those where, if we're being honest, what can we expect him to do if he's not given minutes out on loan? I think he could do really well at somewhere like Sheffield United, where I do think he could be the starter, to be honest. I don't see why that is so much of a massive, a big surprise, really, because at the end of the day, I think he's a really talented striker. I think it's one of those where we can't expect him to develop if he's not given consistent minutes. And if a team like Sheffield United, who can score a lot of goals in the Championship, a team like Swansea, which are known to usually score quite a goals, and even Stoke with the old Coventry boss in charge, Mark Robbins, I think is the name, again, could be really good. The Stoke team, there's some good players around it now. They just brought in Sorba Thomas, so it's one of those where it could be really interesting. I do think we should loan him out, though. I'm 100% on the side of the majority again here. I think it's the best for his development, and I think we'd be doing him a disservice if we didn't loan him out, if I'm being completely honest with you. The next report comes from Caught Offside, and it's that Everton are one of the teams interested in RB Leipzig winger Antonio Nusa. The Norway international is valued in the region of €45 million. Newcastle, Villa, Chelsea and Arsenal are also interested. This is another avoid at all costs to me. Very talented, only 20 years old, still plenty of room to develop. We were interested in him while he was at Club Brugge, and I was saying we should sign him. But for €45 million, he hasn't really proved to be worth nearly any of that amount. 2 goals, 2 assists this season, I believe, for Leipzig, at least in the Bundesliga. Has been moved all over the place, being played in midfield, being played as a winger, being played as a fullback even. So I do appreciate the versatility, but at the same time, it's one of those where we don't have the money to be throwing 45 million on someone that could be a risk. I think Nusa's best shout is another season in Leipzig, to be honest, and then given a full chance to, because I don't really think he started every game either. So I think it's one of those where if he's given the chance to start for the majority of the season, given a chance to, you know, cement himself in the team. We've seen plenty of Leipzig players do in the past. He could move on and, you know, do really well for himself. But for now, I'd say it's one where, again, I don't think he's shown enough in the Bundesliga to be worth 45 million euros. I think there's a lot of projection, which is, of course, is a big part of young players' transfer fees. But at the same time, I just think it'd be very silly for us, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. The next bit of news comes from The Athletic, and it's that Everton are set to miss out on free agent goalkeeper Walter Benitez. Reports yesterday from Dutch newspaper Eindhoven Dagblad said that Everton were in talks with the Argentinian, but according to The Athletic today, he is having his Crystal Palace medical today. I don't really care, to be honest. Again, I think we're doing the right thing. We should be looking on the free agent market for our backup goalkeeper. So maybe even 2 goalkeepers, so we could get someone like Harry Tyrell loan in the Championship, and then maybe he becomes our backup goalkeeper next season. But yeah, okay, I don't really know what to say about this. Benitez, I think he's an okay goalkeeper. He's been around for a while now. I don't really have much to say on this, to be honest with you. And the last bit of news isn't particularly all about Everton. It comes from John Cross on the Mirror, and it's that Richarlison is likely to leave Tottenham this summer. Of course, we mentioned this since we will probably be one of the favourites to sign him. I'd love to get him back, but a lot of it depends on what Spurs are asking for. We'll have to see where. Part of me is a little surprised. I think Thomas Frank would really like someone like Richarlison, but we'll have to see what comes out in the future. I don't want to speculate too much while this is the run, but if the price is reasonable enough, I'd be happy to take Richarlison back, and I think a lot of Everton fans would as well, to be honest with you. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow myself on Twitter at CallumBrannan3. And I'll see you all for the next video and our live stream that I am on.